This is the Louis T. Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It is Friday. Smell the Friday, everybody. Smell the Friday. And if it's Friday, you know we've got a football game to recap. Thursday night football. Bears, Giants. Giants on the road, taking on the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Bears looking to go to 4-2 in the season and break that 2-game losing streak. Giants looking to get their first win of the season. Who's going to relent? Who was going to give in? And who was going to get to call themselves victorious after this game? Let's talk about it. Bears start this game out exactly like I said they needed to. And the Giants did exactly what I told them not to do. Don't start this game off with turnovers, with mistakes. You're on the road, you're winless. You need confidence, not things to go awry early on that have you doubting this football team and their chances of winning this football game. But first possession, right out the gate, Eli Manning, pick on third down. And luckily enough for this Giants team, the defense stood up. And it seems like coaches more and more are turning down points in pursuit of the touchdown. And look, I understand sometimes when you're at home, you've got the momentum, you want to try something. In this position, I'm more inclined to lean on the side of caution. Even though you're at home, this is free points. For me, it's free points. It's free points. If another team is going to give you points, you got to take them. This wasn't a Bears drive that was 11 plays, 72 yards, and you've come this far, you feel like, hey, why not go for it on 4th and 3? This was free points. This was a pick that was run deep into Giants territory. You're already in field goal range. If you can't get in the end zone, take the 3 points. It's free points. You didn't earn these. You took these points. They were given to you. So I wanted the field goal there. If I'm the Bears, I want the field goal. This is a totally different scenario than the one that happened on Monday Night Football with the Jets and the Falcons, where Mike Smith elected to take an opportunity to try to get in the end zone from the 1-yard line right before halftime. And in that position, you want the points because, hey, you don't want to give the Jets any more momentum. They already have enough up 17-7 at this point. You need to get something. Have some kind of momentum going into the locker room. In this instance, in this game, if you want to go, if you are Mark Tresman and you want to go for it, fine, go for it. Because it's a 0-0 football game. You just got an interception. Crowd's involved. You want to keep them that way. You go for it on 4th down. The crowd always wants to go for it on 4th down. And so why not? It's early. You can afford to do that. I'm more inclined to take the points, but if you want to go for it in that situation, fine. Knock yourself out because it's a 0-0 game. And if you don't get it, the Giants are deep in their own territory. If you can force a punt, you'll get good field position anyway. So they went for it, and the Giants defense held. And so it was nothing lost by that Eli Manning interception thrown on that first possession. So if you are a Giants fan, you're like, okay, wow, we got away with one. So the defense picks the offense up. Eli Manning gets the football back, and he's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not done yet. Pick 6 on an obvious disconnect between receiver and quarterback. Ruben Randall is running a 9 route. He's running a go, and Eli is expecting a stop after about 5 yards. Tim Jennings, playing cover 3 coverage, is looking directly at Eli Manning the entire play as he has a deep third. He sees Eli loading up to throw. He jumps the route. And there's no one out there except Tim Jennings because Ruben Randall continues down the field. Eli is expecting him to stop. Tim Jennings picks it off, heads into the end zone. Just like that, Eli Manning is 1 for 5 with 2 interceptions, one leading directly to 7 points for the Chicago Bears as they jump out to a 7-0 lead. This looks like a disaster in the making. But luckily enough for the Giants, there was a silver lining on their offense on this night. And that silver lining was Brandon Jacobs. And he kind of turned the clock back in this game. He looked like the Brandon Jacob of old. And Brandon Jacobs was all over the field. He was catching passes. He was running over defenders. He was running hard. And this offensive line, give them credit. They were opening up some holes for him, and he knew what to do with those holes. And it was 16 here. It was 19. It was 13. It was 12. It was 8. He was getting chunks, and he was keeping his Giants offense, I guess you could say, afloat while Eli Manning was able to clear his head, because early in this game, he was flustered. There's no doubt about it. He wasn't on the same page with his receivers. He wasn't making smart decisions. He was doing a lot of things that have seen the Giants start this season 0-5. And to start the game off the way that they did, they were lucky to not be blown out. If the Bears get a touchdown on that first pick and he turns around and throws a pick 6 and it's 14-0, this game is a blowout. But this Giants defense stepped up. They held the Bears down. And so they stopped this game from getting out of control. Bears end up scoring some points in the first half. And at the end of the first half, the score is 24-14. And the Bears had done some things in this first half to really separate themselves from the Giants. But they hadn't ran away with the football game yet. And that was the thing that I said they needed to do. They needed to go and hide. Get away from the Giants. Don't allow them to stay in this football game and feel like they have a chance. But that's exactly what the Giants felt like. After the 2 Eli Manning interceptions, after all of the mistakes that they had made early in this game, after a fourth quarter touchdown, the Giants were only down by 6, 21-27. And so they were right back in the football game. And the Bears had basically bogged down offensively. They couldn't push the ball down the field the way they wanted to. The running game wasn't quite in sync. And so they end up punting the football late in the game. Eli Manning and the Giants getting a final opportunity to win this football game. And we know Eli Manning in the past has been Mr. Fourth Quarter. So the Bears could be in trouble here. Giants with the football, chance for Eli Manning to take his team down the field on a last-second drive to win his game. And look, this could be what the doctor ordered for the New York Giants to kickstart their season in the right direction. A win on the road against a solid Chicago Bears team, last-second win could galvanize this football team and start a streak of 5 consecutive wins. Who knows? This could be the moment that changes the Giants season. And they start to march. And they get to the 2-minute warning, and they're moving the football. And then Eli Manning does what Eli Manning does in 2013 in the fourth quarter. Turn the football over. In the most inopportune time, the worst time it could come, Eli Manning decides to throw his third and final pick of this football game, picked off by Tim Jennings. Game, set, match. Everybody drive home safely. Chicago Bears escape on Thursday Night Football at home versus the winless New York Giants. 27-21. Bears go to 4-2, snap their 2-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the New York Giants are now 0-6. Ouch! On the season. Look, I've said it time and time again. I don't believe this Giants team is going to snap out of this funk that they're in. They're just not a good football team this season. Eli Manning is turning the football over at an alarming rate. And it's crazy because all offseason, I was singing the praises of Eli Manning, how he got it as a quarterback, how he was an elite quarterback. There's nothing elite about the way Eli Manning is playing right now. In fact, he's reverted back to the old Eli Manning ways, the ones where he was throwing no-look passes and throwing 22 interceptions in a season. He's on pace to throw well over 30 interceptions this season. I mean, what he's doing right now, if Mark Sanchez was doing this, we would be calling for Mark Sanchez's head. But because it's Eli Manning, a 2 5-time Super Bowl winning champion, he's got a little bit more leeway. But I tell you what, if he continues to play this way, this New York Giants fan base and this New York Giants media, you know, the New York media will have Eli Manning's head on a platter. He's got to tighten up. He's got to play better. He's got to stop turning over the football. Now, I will say this. This offensive line, they've got to block better. They've got to have better protection schemes. They've got to have guys that can stand up to the blitz, because Eli is seeing ghosts at times. But for the most part, these are real, live bodies coming at him, okay? It's not ghosts. He's not seeing defenders when they're not there. It's actual defenders coming after him and hitting home. And so they've got to protect him better. But when there's not pressure, he can't afford to make mistakes. And he's making mistakes. And even if the pressure's there, eat it. I'm pretty sure your coaches, offensive coordinator, head coach, and even the defensive coordinator would much rather you take a sack and punt the football on 4th down than you throw an interception. Trust me on that one. And so the Giants have a lot of things to correct. They're a bad football team struggling to find answers. They're 0-6 right now. Bears take sole possession of first place in the NFC North, going to 4-2 on the season as they get the win at home. Strong game by Jay Cutler. Solid performance. Didn't turn it over. Solid performance by Matt Forte. Again, this Bears team, they don't excite me. They don't put teams away. They win close ball games, and that's a good trait to have. But it's also great to blow teams out as well. And right now, I'm not seeing that from them. But they get another win. That's all that matters. Another notch in that left-hand column. They're 4-2 on the season. So now we look at Sunday's slate of games. Time for the Pick'em Weekly here in the lab room on Friday for week number 6. Looking for a strong week this week. Again, I'm trying to get back to double digits. Last 2 weeks, 9 wins. Not acceptable by my standards. I'm better than 9 wins. The Atlanta Falcons really did me in last week. Like I said, I got my eye on you, Atlanta. I will not forgive you for what you have done to my season. And so this week I'm looking to rebound. I'm looking for double-digit wins. I need to get back in that double-digit column. I need to have 10 or more wins under my belt this week. This is another tough week. The NFL has not let up on the amount of games that are tough from week to week. Hasn't been a pretty solid and easy week to pick since about week 3. Week 4 was tough. Week 5 was tough. And so is week number 6. But again, this is what I do. And so there's no excuses. Time to get it done. So here we go. Sunday slate of games. Working our way down the list. Let's go and break them down. I'll give you a winner. Let's start in Baltimore. Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens taking on the Green Bay Packers. Packers, to me, are the better football team in this game. Still not that sold on the Packers yet. I haven't seen that dominant team that's running teams out of the building with their offense. Defense seems to be a lot better this season, but the offense, they don't seem to have it in 5th gear yet. But this Baltimore Ravens offense is operating on about gear number 1, and they haven't shifted gears up yet. And I don't know if they have the capability to shift gears up and kick it into high gear. I'm not sold on this Ravens team. I think they're an 8-8 bunch. I think they're a team that's going to miss the postseason in the AFC. I don't think that they're going to win this football game. Give me the Packers on the road to get it done versus the Super Bowl champions. Packers 27. Ravens 21. What the heck? I think they can muster 20 points at least. Ravens 21, Packers 27. Give me the Packers on the road to get it done. You look at the next matchup. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off their bye, 0-4, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles might be without Vic. If he's playing, I think the Eagles will win. If he's not, and it's Nicholas Foles, I expect Tampa Bay to be able to get after Nick Foles, force him into some mistakes, and find a way to win this football game. Yes, I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here to get it done at home if Nicholas Foles is starting. If Vic is starting, give me the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is one of those flippy-floppy games. So if Vic starts, I've got the Eagles getting it done on the road. If Nick Foles starts, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get off the schneid. So that's one of those if and or scenarios. So I got the Bucks if Foles is starting for the Eagles. I got the Eagles if Vic gives it a go. So we move right along. Steelers coming off of their bye week on the road versus the New York Jets. All of a sudden, everybody's on the Jets bandwagon except me. Still think that this Jets team isn't that good. However, they're better than I thought they were. And I will give them credit and say as much. But the Steelers are coming off this bye. They're hungry. They realize that, look, they're running out of opportunities to right the ship in 2013. If you can't win off your bye versus a rookie quarterback, then you're not going to win many games if you're the Steelers. Give me the Steelers one final time to right the ship and try to get back on track in this season. Not saying that this will propel them to a 10-win season or even a 9-win season, but this is the win that is supposed to get the Steelers back in gear, get them back to respectability. Give me the Steelers on the road in a 23-16 win over the New York Jets. Looking at the next matchup, Minnesota Vikings at home versus the Carolina Panthers. Received some very disturbing news today on a Minnesota Vikings front, and I'll touch on this a little bit later in the program, but Adrian Peterson will be playing in this game with a heavy heart. Son or one of his family members, it's believed to be his son, 2 years old, was attacked by his mother's, the son's mother's boyfriend. And so son's in critical condition, or whoever that family member is, could be a nephew. Right now, reports are it's his son. Either way, just heartbreaking news. You don't want to see anything like that happen. That is just disgusting on every single level imaginable. My prayers go out to Adrian Peterson and his family. And they're going to be in this game versus the Carolina Panthers. Vikings coming off of a bye week. They're hungry. They won a game right before the bye. Now they're trying to build upon that. Adrian Peterson is going out and he's going to play with the heavy heart. His teammates are going to want to get this one for him. With this happening, with them coming off the bye, it's too much for the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-3 themselves, to overcome. Give me the Vikings at home in a 27-17 win over the Carolina Panthers. You look at the next football game, Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders taking on Kansas City. And look, got to go with the hot team here. 5-0 Kansas City taking on 2-3 Oakland. Give me the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs in a close football game. This is family business. And you know how that goes. Anything goes. All bets are off when it's family business. So, give me the Chiefs at home versus the Oakland Raiders, 27-10. This will be a close game in the fourth quarter. I expect the Chiefs to run away with it, however, in the fourth quarter, and look for the Chiefs to go to 6-0 on the season. You look at the next matchup, Houston Texans hosting the St. Louis Rams. This is supposed to be a get-well game for Matt Schaub and the Houston Texans. If you can't dominate, obliterate, and destroy the Rams at home and get back on track, if Matt Schaub can't throw 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and go 28 of 37 for 298 yards or 311 yards, if he can't be flawless in this game, if he's turning it over and this game is close or they lose, the Texans aren't coming back this season. But if he can go out, and this is supposed to be a get-right game, this is supposed to be a get-well game, and I expect them to do that. Give me the Houston Texans at home to get it done versus the St. Louis Rams. This is it for Matt Schaub. If he can't get it done and get it done in an impressive fashion at home versus the St. Louis Rams, then I don't know what has become of Matt Schaub. I already said he's a loser, and I'm sticking steadfast to that assertion. He's a loser. He's not a winner. But you should be able to take care of the St. Louis Rams at home. Give me the Texans at home to win this football game 30-20 over the St. Louis Rams. You look at the next football game. Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. Bills are a different team at home. Bengals are horrid on the road. However, Thad Lewis is starting at quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I don't trust Thad Lewis. Who are you? No, seriously. Who are you? I don't know you, so I don't trust you. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe, just maybe, the Cincinnati Bengals can finally get their first road win of the season. If they can do that, maybe that will give them some confidence down the road, on the road, for future football games. I expect them to rattle this young quarterback, get pressure on him, force him into a couple of mistakes, win this football game 26-16 on the road. Give me Cincinnati. You look at the next football game. The Detroit Lions are going off to Ohio to take on the Cleveland Browns in a football game that is huge for both teams involved. Both teams have an opportunity to go to 4-2 and back into first place in their respective divisions. This is a huge game for both parties involved. Cleveland is going to be without Hoyer for the rest of the season. So no more Billy Ho. Now, Brandon Weeden is back in charge of the show in Cleveland. Let's see how he does in his first full start since coming off of that injury he suffered against the Ravens early on in the season. I don't trust Brandon Weeden. As much as I want to pick the Browns, you know I like the Browns a little bit because of the talent on that football team. I don't trust Brandon Weeden at all. Hence, taking the Detroit Lions here. Heavens to Mugatron is playing. He's taking the knee braces off. He's practicing. He feels good enough to go. He feels good enough to take the braces off. Give me the Lions with Reginald Bush, with Heavens to Mugatron. Give me the Lions on the road to go to 4-2, taking the Lions in a 24-17 win over the Cleveland Browns. You look at the next football game. Seattle Seahawks going home after 2 straight road games, going back home to the 12th man at CenturyLink to take on the Tennessee Titans. Man, the Titans started out this season great at 3-1. They were feeling good about themselves, and then boom, down goes Jake Locker. Then they lose to the Chiefs. Now they're going to lose to the Seattle Seahawks on the road. Give me the Seahawks at home until someone dethrones these guys at home, until someone is brave enough, tough enough, gaudy enough to go into Seattle and win. I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks for every home game. And this is no exception. Give me the Seahawks at home 31-10 over the Tennessee Titans. You look at the next football game. Denver Broncos hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, this is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. In here. Oh, in here. Oh, in here. Oh, no, Jacksonville. No. Why, Jacksonville? Why did you have to play the Denver Broncos this season? This one could get really, really, really ugly. And I expect it to. This Jacksonville Jaguars team isn't good. I don't see any resistance being put up in this game. Give me the Broncos at home in a laugher 44-13. You look at the next game. This is going to be a good football game. 5-0 New Orleans Saints traveling to Foxborough to take on the 4-1 New England Patriots. Look, the Patriots are a solid football team, but I told you from the jump, I'm not sold on these guys. They've got a young core of players offensively. Brady is struggling to get in the groove with these guys. Amendola's still working his way back from injury. I don't trust him to stay healthy. Gronk hasn't been cleared quite yet to play. Probably won't play in this football game. They're going to struggle. This Saints defense has shown me some things. I trust them a little bit. I'm not sold on them yet. They're slowly gaining my trust week in, week out. Give me the Saints on the road to extend their winning streak to start this season at 6-0 with a win on the road versus the Patriots. I'm taking the Saints in a win over the Patriots 27-23. Give me the Saints on the road. You look at the next football game. San Francisco 49ers at home versus the Arizona Cardinals in a little bit of NFC West family business. Now, I would love to give the Arizona Cardinals a look. See, give them a little sniff. Not on my watch. Can't give them a sniff if they're not at home. I trust the Cardinals at home to put up a fight and win against most teams. On the road, however, haven't seen one game from the Arizona Cardinals on the road that makes me feel comfortable picking them at San Francisco to win against the 49ers. Not going to do it. So give me the 49ers at home to dispose of their NFC West rivals in the Arizona Cardinals 28-17. Cardinals have been turning the football over. Carson Palmer has been a turnover machine to start this season off. I expect him to turn it over a few more times in this game. Give me the 49ers at home to take care of business in convincing fashion. You look at Sunday Night Football. Skins and Boys. Jerry's Boys taking on Daniel Snyder's Washington Redskins. Did you hear that? The Redskins. Not some other name, the Washington Redskins. If you're looking for a breakdown of this game, of course, you will have to find the answer you're looking for, the winner to this game on the Redskins Report. So that takes us to Monday Night Football. You've got the San Diego Chargers at home versus the Indianapolis Colts, led by Andrew Luck, his first ever game on Monday Night Football. So it'd be pretty interesting. So you've got the Indianapolis Colts 4-1 playing some really good football. They've switched up their identity. They're a different football team. They run the football. They play aggressive defense. They throw it when they have to, or they go play action fake. They went down the field to T.Y. Hilton last game, and they're starting to really forge a brand new identity versus the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Superchargers, who have played solid football, have been competitive in just about every game they've been in this season, yet they're still 2-3 on the season. They've been a surprise team this year, one of those teams that you don't know what you're getting from week to week in terms of are they going to be able to win or not, but you're getting a competitive football team every single week, and so you got to be careful here. But give me, in a surprise, the San Diego Chargers to get it done on Monday Night Football. The Colts are riding high, and they're a good football team. But I expect the Colts to have a letdown. And look, San Diego has played some really good football at home. They've scared some teams. They've beat some teams. Give me the Chargers at home to surprise and sneak up on the Indianapolis Colts in Week 6. So, those are my Pick'em Weekly picks. Again, I went out on the limb on a couple of picks. It might come back to bite me. It came back to bite me 2 weeks ago. It came back to bite me last week. But at some point, I'm going to sync up and get some of these picks right. I got a couple of them right last week, but when it was all said and done, I got more wrong on my out on the limb picks than I did get them right. And so I'm looking to kind of reverse my fortunes this week. I'm taking San Diego. I could be possibly taking Tampa Bay. Those are two picks that you could look at me and say, hey, you are out of your mind for that. And you probably wouldn't be that far-fetched for making that statement, but I feel good about those picks. I'm taking those teams. Let's see what they do for me this week. So that is my Pick'em Weekly for week number 6. And that is touchdown. Let's tack on this quick extra point. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I alluded to it, the Adrian Peterson situation with what is believed to be his son that was attacked by the mother of his son's boyfriend. And so you always want to be careful who you have your children around. It's a touchy situation. You can never fully control what happens when you're not there. And this is disturbing. This is a disgusting act on the part of the individual responsible for putting this 2-year-old in the hospital in critical condition. All of our hearts and our prayers go out to Adrian Peterson and his family. Adrian Peterson is such a mentally tough individual. He's still going to play. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to go out there and give it a go for the Minnesota Vikings this week. And we just hope that his son is able to recover, and that the one responsible for this, the individual that has done this unthinkable act, he's already in custody. Let's hope he's not released and he's locked up for a very long time. You just hate to see anything happen to kids. They're so innocent. They have nothing to do with anything. You just hate to see anything like this transpire. So glad to see the individual responsible for this disgusting and despicable act is locked away, and also praying for Adrian Peterson and his family and his son or his nephew or whoever the 2-year-old is, hoping that they are able to recover fully from this situation. So that's going to do it for this Friday edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me here on the program. I'm going to see you back here on Monday when we break it all down. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. I'll be back, of course, to break them all down. See you on Monday. And remember, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. See you on Monday. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab